gonna be interesting because he's going up against WebbJP, and we know how difficult it is for, you know, Sheik to be able to get combos in. It's a lot of work with Sheik, but Webb makes it work every single time, and you know, we've seen him do his magic. Let's see if he can against Synnister, who's going out to small battlefield. That's also been the theme of today. A lot of small battlefield, not a lot of PS2.
Okay, so if I'm Webb, there's one thing I'm really going to be focusing on. One, it's finding those hits early on with those aerials and landing, making sure I'm playing safe, and using the needles like we're seeing early on already. The one thing that the show does do, especially Ken does really well against, is rush down characters like Fox, like Spaceys in general. They're really quick to get in your faces. You can just punish them super, super hard.
Yeah.
So if you're playing Sheik, you can fall into that pitfall and take a lot of damage. Unless you're patient, like Webb is doing right now, he definitely knows the vibe already going into this is, I need to play aggressive, but I need to play a patient, I need to play a safe aggressive.
Exactly. Just being able to chip away with those needles again. Such a good projectile to be able to zone himself out against Synnister, who hasn't really had an answer, but now has WebbJP in the corner, although just for a little bit, gets that nair off, now sent off stage, and Webb making sure that he makes the most out of advantage, almost getting that back air off of that.
Nice little conversion there. And there we go. The first stock goes to Synnister there with the up tilt strong into the Shoryu. Again, that's what I'm talking about, right? One good landing on Sheik with Ken already is good at finding those stocks early on. Yeah. It's Sheik being so light and so futile in light situations that you can just take so much damage and lose stock so early. With all this rage on Ken, your stock can be gone the next interaction.
Exactly. All it takes is one good up tilt into the Shoryuken, and it's going to be lights out for Webb, so he's got to be careful, and you're seeing it right now. He's trying to space out all of these forward airs, all of his aerials, to the best that he can, not let Synnister get in, because he knows the stakes are very high right now for Webb, and that, you know, he can't really get in. Now he's forced to get in, of course, but to only such an extent.
I'm honestly loving how Synnister is playing this right now.
Nice.
Of trying to force a situation, of course, Webb doing the exact opposite to him right there, but just playing super patiently, of going for those full hop nairs and looking for an opportunity to find an opening. But Webb, of course, with the reversal here, playing some good damage from a string, already 52% on the board and racking the damage up.
Yeah, basically even percent. You got to remember that Sheik is light, and we saw earlier how early Sheik can die because of that Shoryuken. Right now, Webb, again, is pushing his advantage as much as possible, making all these hits count. But speaking of making hits count, here you go, Synnister, finding that second stock, and right back to him with the lead.
Very good stuff there from Synnister, taking his lead, putting WebbJP down to his final stock of game number 1. And again, it's every time Webb is jumping in, Synnister is playing around that shield super, super well and not getting scared of Sheik pressure, which is a big thing. Sheik has a lot of fake nonsense you can throw at you. And you gotta realize, like, okay, you can do whatever you want. The second you drop that combo, you're mine.
Exactly.
You're done for.
Yeah, it's only so much you can do. We talked about earlier when this set started, how little damage she can do and how much work she has to put in to do all these combos. And no, you're absolutely right. How Synnister is playing around this shield, just making sure that he plays defense to the best of his ability, because he knows he doesn't have to approach whatsoever. He's just waiting for Webb to come in and then potentially get a huge combo. Looking for that kill. Not going to get it. Offstage shenanigans gets the Shoryuken.
Just for the fan of special, but Synnister still with the reversal again, keeping the damage up, looking for the trade there, because of course, if you're going to go, any character wants trades at this point, it's definitely going to be Ken. Yeah. Especially with all this rage online, Webb just trying to shut those needles, get some kind of projectile to stay out of this Ken's face. Because again, like with the shield just barely chipped away, with the Hadoukens on the platform on lock, Synnister is the prime position, find a singular up tilt and win the game off of this.
Right, and you know that he's searching for that by the way that he's moving. He's just walking back and forth, just running up in shield, but you can't run up and shield off the stage. Gets hit by that back air. And now Synnister again, just looking for that one good hit to get going to the Shoryuken. But when you send out Hadoukens like that, you're going to get hit by a lot of damage. And Webb trying to claw his way back, and he's doing pretty well right now.
Yeah, Webb in a much better position now, considering that Synnister has dropped a lot of that rage. So you could maybe win another interaction and still hang on to your stock here. Webb definitely wants that at 51%. Looking to find even more, accentuate this damage even more. Looking to chase down Synnister here. Here comes the pickup into the back air. Another back air off stage. Looking to keep the damage off stage, knowing what to do against his Ken. And the back airs for days. This might just be it if he goes off even further. And to the bouncing fish. And Webb locking it down perfectly.
And just making sure that he makes the most out of Synnister, wasting his jump pretty early because of how horizontal recovery can be with the side B. And Webb, again, making sure that he keeps advantage, make sure that he makes the most out of advantage, and just won that pretty well with very, very good edge guarding. Just, again, good back airs, reading that Synnister couldn't do anything, you saw right there, and then ending up with the bouncing fish. I mean, very, very good stuff from Webb. Takes game number 1.
Yeah, the biggest thing that Webb has, and like I mentioned earlier, right, is one, the needles, and two, just the mobility that she has to play around shield. If you don't have safe shield pressure, then you're in for trouble when you're fighting against the Shotos in general.
Right.
But WebbJP able to jump around and keep that pressure in, that mental pressure and that physical pressure at all times, which forces Synnister, if you guess incorrectly, you're being thrown off stage and getting back here like we saw at the game #1.
Absolutely.
And it's
Hadouken, excuse you?
the low profile. We love to see it. Punishing that air dodge with that lingering in air, and now looking for another edge guard. Webb has been so consistent with his edge guards. It's just really been annoying Synnister to the point where he almost can't do anything, where he's forced to waste his, his tools really, really early and then subsequently find early stocks like that. See, wasting that jump right there, but able to come back. Webb allowing for that Shoryuken to hit.
Honestly, the way Webb's playing this right now reminds me of the term advantage state bot, right?
Yeah.
Where some people you think, oh, they're really good at combos, they find a lot of good damage, but they're missing other parts of their gameplay. Webb's saying, this is a matchup, right, where I can't just sauce out, because if I make a mistake, I'm losing my stock. I can't just sauce out. So you need to focus on taking Synnister off stage and doing it simple. Playing, honestly, just taking it back to your roots of playing like you're playing ZSS, honestly.
Exactly. And it's so good how Webb is just punishing Synnister's disadvantage. But in moments like these, when you have the deficit, again, it's so difficult to find these stocks. But Webb, we've seen it before. He's not willing to, back off from his plan. All he needs is one good hit.
And the updraft comes out, takes that first stock off of Synnister. Webb still keeping this game very close. Of course, I'm loving the patience here from Synnister, especially looking even more, a little more patient in this game #2, right? Waiting for Webb to approach with the lingering aerial. It's just, you see, there's some times where Synnister's waiting a little bit too long, thinking that Webb's going to be landing on shield, but in reality, he fades away. You go for a down tilt, you get punished just like that. So you got to realize you have to wait for Webb to actually commit to an option, and that's when you go for it. Just like there. A small little damage, but that's the stuff that matters. That's the stuff that matters, especially funding parries like that.
Exactly, and I was going to make that point of, just waiting and shielding for too long. I mean, your best plan could turn into your worst enemy. And right now, it's looking like Synnister, able to focus from that forward air. We might see that a little bit more from Synnister, but again, not given a chance. He was talking about this fake pressure that Sheik can dish out, and I feel like Synnister's falling for it just a little bit.
I mean, yeah, it's easier said than done dealing with it. I mean, I'm just sitting here in this chair and I'm like, oh, yeah, Webb, you've done this a million times before. If I'm fighting Webb, forget about it anyways. Synnister, again, sitting here with a lot of rage. So, of course, at 76%, Webb just one singular hit away from losing stock. But then, again, getting a little too overzealous playing around that shield. And this is what's been the pitfall of this entire set. Webb's been playing the waiting game and it's been paying in dividends.
Right. Both these guys have been trying to play patiently, but also trying to push forward somehow. I mean, you're seeing Synnister in his movement. Movement's not going to help you there when Webb finds his combos. And it's crazy. I'm talking about how difficult it is to hit these combos of Sheik, but the consistency that Webb is displaying right now is, that's why he's one of the best in New Jersey. And that's why he's seeded 1 in this tournament. Ooh, wow.
Still not going to find it there. Yeah, again, that's the thing that's different between rage and no rage on Ken. No rage there. I think typically at 8 you're going to take stock. Nope. Sheik's still living that one, and that's huge. Right. That Webb has his own rage to play with. Of course, if you just spot dodge and destroy you again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
But final stock situation once more. Synnister, honestly, with the little bit of knowledge he's gained over the past 2 games, could be looking a lot better here in this final stock scenario.
Right. Now, struggling to find his way out of this combo. Finally gets the air dodge to get out. Webb is still throwing out all these backers, these aerials. Finding his 1-2 punches. Look for the bouncing fish potentially? No.
I like the idea of the high recovery. Still not going to find that, but of course, the sink 2 needles into the bouncing fish, and that is going to wrap it up. Very good stuff there. 2 WebbJP for closing out, but Synnister, though, keeping that set very close, and honestly, just displaying perfectly. Like, just displaying, like, the difference makers, right, of just, it's easy to say, just hold back, bro, and just punish when he presses the button. But there's sometimes where he presses the button, that's a good button.
Yeah.
Where you can't simply punish the button. Oh, she forwarded my shield. Time to punish.
No.
She faded away. Or, oh, she threw out a down tilt. She spaced it perfectly. Oh, Webb threw needles at me at a decent range. It's time to get... Nope.
Nope.
You gotta... It's playing that 4D chess of the fake shield pressure and the fake shield pressure, but I did it on purpose to make you think that it was... It's like...
That it was fake,
it's mind games on mind games.
Right. And that's the beauty of Sheik, right? Is that even though... she has so many different moves, and they're, for the most part, they're quick, they're safe. And so Webb clearly realizing it, but Synnister did a pretty good job not really falling for it too much. Of course, here and there, he got hit by a lot of really, really good combos from WebbJP, but he still maintained his defensive position and got so many stocks out of that Shoryuken.
Yeah, man. I mean, Synnister, just like when he had the opportunities, he used them very, very well. It was just a simple fact that he couldn't open up those opportunities enough.
Absolutely.
And again, it's very much easier said than done to say, oh, bro, just hit Sheik when she stops pressing buttons. I'm like, who are we kidding ourselves? Sheik's not going to ever be pressing buttons. Even if she's running backwards, just needle. Webb's always doing something.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to be. Like, if you have a character with nonsensical frame data, with insane pressure from wherever you are on the stage, you're going to be using said pressure. And especially against a character like Ken,